What's a truth no one wants to hear? That's a lesson I made sure my kids knew when they started school. Not in a mean way, but more of a thing to be aware of. You know how sometimes you meet a person and you just don't like them. For no reason, they didn't do anything to you, they aren't mean, you just don't vibe? That's okay, not everyone is going to be someone you like. But that's also true about you. Some people just won't like you, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you have to change anything about yourself. You're just not their people. This is a thing that always bothered me growing up, if someone didn't like me for no reason. And I was a grown-ass adult before I figured this out. I want to make sure my kids get a head start on it. The flip side of this is, when you do meet one of your people, the connection is instantaneous and amazing. Gender, ethnicity, or faith can be completely different from you and still, a dear old friend you just hadn't met yet. Laughing and playing off each other almost automatically. My people are everywhere and I cherish each one I meet. My best friend spent a week with me and wife before he hung himself at his and his girlfriend's house after trying to poison himself the day he got back home. He had all kinds of plans. Turns out he was planning his suicide. His mother died 2 years later because of neglecting herself. He told her in his suicide letter that she needed professional help. I woke up after I had a dream about him saying goodbye and with a dozen missed calls from his girlfriend who just got home from spending the night at a friend's house who my friend thought she was cheating him with. No need to be sorry, I know how you feel. Oddly, the night I got back from deployment was the night he died. I went to bed thinking about calling a few people back home but just went to bed after I spoke to my parents. He was going to be my second call. I figured out with the time zone difference it was right around the time he did it. It never gets easier. Suicide fucking sucks. My friend Jack, who is definitely not dead, he stole a yacht and is cruising the high seas with Swedish bikini model masseuses, used to say that you were never really gone if people were still telling stories about you. So I take every opportunity one can to tell people about my friend Jack, a foul-mouthed pervert with a heart of gold, with more funny stories about his sexual exploits than I have fingers or toes to count, who would have been a wonderful uncle to my kid if he were still around. I will never forget MIT friend. He was like a brother to me and I just wish that I could share these moments with him. I have such a beautiful apartment where he could have lived with me. I work at a great company who would have gladly given someone with his credentials a wonderful and exciting job. And next month is my birthday and I am on vacation and we could have had a great trip together. This makes me really sad, but on the other side I am so glad that I had the chance to have someone like him in my life, and I am really glad that our final evening together was full of laughter and that we had the opportunity to spend some time together. He will always be with me and I can't ever forget him, so he will never be gone. Yeah, I'm in my 20s and I'm at the point where I'm about to let go of someone who I once considered my best friend in the entire world. I really loved this person, like really loved him, and honestly I still do. But I don't think either of us are benefiting anymore. We both made some pretty severe mistakes and I've tried so hard to make up for it. I have really done my best. But if that isn't good enough, then I suppose the only thing left to do is wish him well and go our separate ways, no matter how badly it hurts. A very powerful answer, too. Doing tech support to customers and the sales force, and equally as a parent, I used it a lot. Give the answer when you know it, don't pretend when you don't. Then if appropriate, tell them you'll find out, go away, and get back to them. And if you give an answer and you're wrong, don't be embarrassed by it, take it on the chin and make a correction if appropriate. You build up way more respect that way than by trying to bluff your way through. This is one of the more important ones on this thread, honestly. I really don't like how, as an atheist, I'm expected by a lot of people to bring alternative answers to the big questions about the universe and its beginning. Then when I just say I can make guesses, but overall I just don't know, I get this tone of philosophical superiority from them just because they have an answer. It's like, no Brenda, just saying God did it isn't any better. To be clear, it's not all religious people who do this, but it is a frustrating amount who do. I had the opposite situation where the teacher asked me to do an equation in the board. I say I can't do it. His solution is, go on, have a go, we'll help you when you get stuck, and then continuing in the same style despite me explaining I had literally no idea, I couldn't even start. Ended in me standing in front of the board with the pen in front of my peers while the teacher continued to not believe me when I said I couldn't do differentiation yet, hence being in the class so refusing to help until I had started. You can do it. At some point of my life I could say I had 0 true friends, now I can tell I have 5 true friends. No matter how shitty the situation is, they're always there for me and I do the same for them. We know pretty much every single bad and good story from the others, and most of the times we were there together, either all or a few. We're close to each other families. It's indeed not easy to find, but once you get your squad, you live and die for it. As a tip, you should be more open with yourself, otherwise you're only sharing the surface of what you really are and there's no way you'll truly connect to people that way. Flossing is the real LPT, not brushing. Flossing is actually removing the food from your teeth. Brushing is just polishing. Also, antiseptic mouthwash after flossing, at least once every few days. You won't believe how many little sores and gum aches you're preventing. Edit, not trying to downplay the importance of brushing, obviously, just play, flossing. Same. I make sure I floss regularly but not much comes out, the floss string doesn't smell, like some people mention, and I brush thoroughly with my soft bristle brush. Someone once told me that 20% of bad breath comes from teeth, and 80% from your mouth. This is why I scrub my tongue, cheeks, and roof, and make sure I cover all my gums, gently. I often ask my wife if my breath is okay. She confirms it's fine and she would tell me if there's an issue. Genetics does play into it a little bit. I had a whole lot of teeth removed, expander, braces, retainers growing up, yet not one cavity. I'm 36 and I still have 0 cavities. I wasn't flossing and only brushed once a day. Now that I'm older and wiser, I use an electric toothbrush twice a day and use a water pick to floss every day too. I don't want any cavities. I go to the dentist once a year for a clean and check. My brother on the other hand has always had a great, straight smile. No work done on his teeth at all. But he has a ton of cavities. He has always brushed twice a day and flossed since he was little. Our parents also have shocking quality teeth. So, it's a bit of genetics, a bit of how well you take care of them. There is a huge financial, emotional, social cost to parenting. Kids are wonderful, but they're also irritating, selfish, frustrating, and time-intensive. I have never regret having them. They are one of my greatest sources of joy, but I do miss when I didn't have them sometimes. Where I live, just childcare and 529 savings is $2,500 per month per child for the first 10 years of their life. That's not including everything else. And that's to save for public college. So much money. Yep. My brother and his wife. Kids are wild. One never stops moving and breaks, ruins all sorts of stuff because it's funny and they can't be bothered to do anything other than complain about it. The other is angry. All the time. They don't work together, communicate or support each other. They don't help each other. He does almost all of the day-to-day stuff, she does very little. Now he's in therapy. He's stressed the fuck out 24/7, unhappy, angry. I feel bad for not trying to do more, but I honestly can't stand to be around any of them for more than an hour, so mostly avoid the whole shit show. But at least he's stopped asking me when I'm going to have kids. So there's that. Living the American dream, eh? For everyone who succeeds and talks about how hard they had to work to succeed, there are many more people who also worked hard and didn't succeed, or were less successful. There is no such thing as karma. The universe doesn't keep a balance sheet where being good leads to good and being bad leads to bad. The truth is there are a lot of truly good people who never get what they deserve. And there are a lot of bad people who get far more than they deserve. That they're not the right choice for a promotion they think they're qualified for. Holy shit, the number of times I've had co-workers try to get my support when they didn't get a promotion. Hey, it sucks, but no, you're not the best candidate. As I was leaving my last job, This girl I barely knew asked me if I wanted her to write me a letter of recommendation. I asked other co-workers what that was about. Apparently, she thought she was in line for my boss's job because she was her admin assistant. She was barely even qualified for that, but I guess she thought she was going to slide into that position. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Doesn't make sense either. Facebook does it for engagement, ad personalization, and such, which is still scummy and intrusive. However, looking at TikTok, it's just on another level for no good reason. They don't have communities, threads, forums, or any advanced video hosting features, yet they collect all kinds of data and also partner with the Chinese government very closely. Not only that, but they also goes on to say how they value users' privacy. We are committed to protecting and respecting your privacy. We are committed to maintaining your trust, and while TikTok does not sell personal information to third parties, we want you to understand when and with whom we may share the information we collect for business purposes. I did this for way too long in my life. Felt like I was walking on eggshells for the longest time. Always scared about what said other person would do if I said no, or acted a way they didn't like. Once you get the ability to get by on your own, it's easier to start drawing a line. Makes not only the ability to decide what's best for yourself, but as well as the means to act on it easier. We are made from stardust, and in the grand scheme of things, we are nothing. As Carl Sagan so eloquently put it, look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there on a mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam. You are not responsible for your parents' emotions or problems, your friends' emotions or problems. You are only responsible for your own life, so take responsibility of that. And one more thing, best friend can go or lost from your life. That doesn't mean you're unworthy, it means you are growing. It's a part. Take responsibility of your healing, any type healing, mental, emotional, physical, whatever, before doing commitment to anyone or becoming a parent. Cut toxic people here. Family also includes if they're toxic. No mercy here. Focus on your inner peace only. Fuck what people are saying. That we are all selfish, and that our very existence is making the existence of future generations less likely. We are fucking up the world, and yet we continue to go on with our daily lives. Not many people are willing to make the big sacrifices. Stop having more than one kid, recycle and reuse everything, stop buying shit you don't need, walk, or ride a bike to work and shop for groceries daily so you can carry it without a car, get solar if you own your home, go vegan, saves a lot of resources in the agriculture industry, don't get a new phone until the battery dies, vote for politicians that will bring green initiatives even if that means more taxes, buy from the companies that use more environmentally friendly factories/materials. I certainly don't do all of that, and neither do you, but it's harsh reality and we like to ignore it. It's going to cost money, sacrifices and whole lot of change, but if we want our grandchildren's grandchildren to have a chance, we need to make changes now.